From the office, we have the foyer, and then we have either a bar or an office. We use this room as a bar. This wine refrigerator can be plugged in underneath here, and then it allows you to set the temperature for your wine up and down. These shelves are permanently floating. Okay. And the switch for the room is on this wall here. Moving on. Coming into the dining room, we have two switches. That is a master wall switch for the lights, and this is a dimming wall switch. So you can see this little instrument here allows the lights to go up and down. From the dining room, we enter the kitchen. Okay, we'll get you a shot from the breakfast nook over here. You get a better idea of how big the kitchen is. Okay, so microwave, stove, pretty self-explanatory. There's lights on the stove, and then you can save power on the stove. There's also different stages of the vent. The vent filters can be put in the dishwasher. We have granite countertops, and this is what we use to clean the granite countertops. Picked this up at Lowe's. It's about $5. Just don't use bleach wipes. You don't have to use the granite cleaner, but just don't use bleach because it'll ruin the stone. Here we have the pantry, so we flip on the light and we come into a pretty large pantry. Okay. And the refrigerator, it's not plugged in right now, but it's dual-sided, so we have the refrigerator side and the ice freezer side. This will make its own ice. Sometimes the ice will get clogged. I would just pull this out, clean it out here at the back of my hand, close it, and voila. And then this also has its own air filter and water filter. And those are both located currently above the refrigerator in this cabinet. You can order the new ones at your leisure. It's about 6 months each. And the refrigerator will let you know on this panel here on the front that it's time to order a new one and then replace the new one. Okay, you also have plenty of cabinet space. The dishwasher we would usually run on the quick cycle. It takes about an hour, and it got everything done nice and clean for us. As you can see, this is where everything will go inside here, and this you just push down after you put in the pod, and you have yourself some cleaning. It's got a garbage disposal. Here's the switch for the garbage disposal. Okay, and it's got a pot scrubber sink with a hose that comes down, and then this switch here is for your bar lights. Turns those off. Finally, you have some space in the breakfast nook area. Before we head into the living room, I just want to go over these switches on the wall. This switch is for a floodlight on the outside of the house. Basically outside that little window right there, there's a light hanging on the outside of the house. This switch here will go to the lights over the breakfast nook area. This switch here will go to the ceiling fan light above the living room. And then this switch here will work on the fan outside. The pull cord needs to be yanked on the light to make the light work, but otherwise it works okay. What I will tell you is that is a water resistant fan. So if you are gonna have it spray cleaned or power washed or anything like that, that you will actually burn out the fan if you power wash and water gets up in there. All right, we have a sliding glass door, obviously. It's locked, it's unlocked, and we open up when we go outside. It's not a very nice day out today, but you can see it's a rather generous lawn. Inside of that shed is a lawnmower you're welcome to use. There may be some other garden utensils. And in the summertime, I would mow about once a week. There's also a sprinkler system out here. There are zone 2 will sprinkle this area and then zone 1, the larger sprinkles will come out and get the entire lawn. We'll go over the sprinkler system when we go to the garage. And finally, there are some lights draped across the top here. There are replacement bulbs inside the shed, as well as another set of lights in the event that you wanted to put them up for something else. And we just plug them in as a GFI outlet here. These shades you can roll to come down in the summertime if you want to keep the sun out. Okay, moving into the living room. Cover a few things over here. First, the fireplace. This is the gas on and off. There's a key. You can pull that key out and place it on the mantle, and it tells you which direction is on and off. Typically, we would leave it off unless we wanted to use the fireplace, and then when we were done, we would turn it off again. This switch you will flip down. It's a little counterintuitive, but once the gas is turned on, you'll flip this switch down in order to make the fireplace work. And if you stand right where I'm standing and you look down into that fireplace, sometimes you can see, I don't know if you can see it on this video, a little light flickering, and that is the pilot trying to ignite the gas. So the first time you use it, it may take a bit. Now we're gonna move on to the TV stand, mounted for a 70-inch television. Okay, now right now these things are currently not attached, and this is the piece that will go to the back of the television. And there are the bolts right there. They'll probably be on the mantle by the time you take a look. But this is what will attach to the back of the television, okay? And you will simply, once you've done both sides here, you just clamp this on. Just kind of set the television on there, and this will pull away from the wall here. Bear with me. And once you've attached it, you will just fasten these screws here up, and that'll keep it from popping out. It'll be permanently in place. And this held a 70-inch television, so you should have no problem with, it's not rated for anything above 70, so please don't be adding anything heavier than that, okay? And then finally, for the television, you have the HDMI cables, you have your yellow, green, blue cables, and you also have your coaxial cable, all of which show up over here, okay? Now this is where we had the internet router. We had it plugged into that coaxial, and then we had the Apple TV and various other HDMI capable devices plugged in here, and they didn't have to sit up behind the mantle. Those speaker wires are hardwired in to the speakers all throughout the house. I could not get it to work. You're welcome to try if you'd like, but they are not Bluetooth. They are hardwired in, and they get their energy or their juice from those wires. So I tried it with a receiver and a whole thing, and I just couldn't get it to work, but you're welcome to try. Also, we have the light switches here. So this is for the fan, and this is for the light, okay? And then these go outside. So this is the floodlight outside, the garage, and the sconces on the garage, outside of the garage, okay? We're gonna leave that flipped up because I wanna show you how they work, okay? We open up to this garage, and as you can see, the light is not on. I flipped that middle switch I just showed you, and the light comes on. We'll talk about the garage in a few minutes. We'll come back to that. Heading back down the hallway, we have a half bath. And finally, downstairs, we have a coat closet. Okay, lots of space in here. Besides obviously coats and hats and things like that, we used to store our larger kitchen utensils and things like that in there. So that completes the downstairs. We're going to head to the garage. Okay, entering the garage. There is no keypad to enter the garage from the outside, so you have to have the garage door openers. Now those are those sconces that I was talking about on the outside of the house that the switch will activate. Those sconces, you can leave that switch on. Both those sconces are activated by, they sense the light outside. So you don't have to worry about turning them on and off. They'll go off in the morning when the sun comes up. I did put these shelves up, okay? You're welcome to use them as all you'd like. You can move the paint around, but this is the paint that we use to, fix up the place when it's time to paint. So I actually don't do anything with the paint except maybe just move it, but keep it in the garage so it doesn't spoil. Hidden behind this paint you'll see the main water shutoff. I don't have it set all the way on because the plumbers told me that the water pressure is quite high, so I don't have it opened up all the way to avoid too much pressure on the hoses and pipes inside the house. However, if anything does have to happen with the plumbing and you need to show somebody where it's at, I want to zoom in real close here. Those three items right there in the center of the screen, I'm going to put the arrow on them. Those are all the areas where the water city will come, or when the plumbers come, they'll work. Now, on the side of this house, if we were to go around this corner, okay, is where I would store the trash can and the recycle bin. This is the trash can. I will put a link down below for the city of Cayce, but essentially every Monday is garbage day. Every other Monday includes recyclables. And all you really need to do is look at the block and see what everyone else is doing. Put the cans right next to the mailbox. Once a month, they do bulk items. You can put out furniture, things like that. Again, just look at the website I put below. And then also out here, we'll come around. It's kind of not such good weather. Get to the backyard to that fence. And here is the on-demand hot water system I was talking about. We just had it put in, and it will be serviced every January. Last thing I want to go over out here is the sprinkler system. Okay, so currently it's off. When it's time to use the sprinkler, you'll simply switch it to auto. Okay, and what this will do is on Monday, Wednesday, Fridays at 3 a.m., it'll sprinkle the lawn for 15 to 20 minutes each zone, and there are 2 zones. Okay, we're gonna flip it to off though, because as you can see, it's raining quite a bit and winter is coming, so we do not need that. But the zones are simply on this stretch of driveway right here. There are sprinklers that will come up to sprinkle this portion of the lawn. Oftentimes you may need to pull them up to give them a little, it takes a while for the pressure to build up to get going. And then over here, there are much larger sprinklers that will pop up and they will spray the whole front lawn, and as well as on the side of the house where the air conditioner is. And then I described to you a zone 1 and zone 2 in the back of the house. I took this screen door off because kids and dogs would often break it. If you're adamant about the screen door being on, let me know. We will get it fixed immediately. But it continue to come off the track and to be more of a nuisance than anything else. And typically with the heat in South Carolina, you either have the doors open or closed, and you're not worried about the bugs. So they didn't get much use is my point. Okay, we're gonna head up the stairs. Okay, we'll start in the back 2 bedrooms. So this was initially our girls' room, and then it turned into the sort of the extra playroom. And we do have this closet kit in here, so to keep things a little bit better organized for you. This was our boys' room. And again, another closet organizer for you. At the end of the hall, we have a little bit of a linen closet. We put blankets, sheets, and things like that in here, and towels for the children. And moving here was the child's bathroom. All right, so it's got a stand-in shower. And then one sink, and then plenty of space down here to put things. We'll head into the entertainment room is what we called it. Could also be used as an office if not a bedroom. Okay, this is freshly painted. And this was an entertainment room, so it did have something, I think there was a projector system here, because they had outlets in the ceiling. And then also in this closet, it's not sort of your typical closet. They had, I think, internet cable ran throughout the house. So this is all Ethernet cable, but it was probably built before they had Wi-Fi and things. And then some more outlets. So these are more speaker wires that are throughout the house. So this is really not conducive to a bedroom, although you're more than welcome to use it as such. And finally, it does have the dimming top hat lights. So if we just hold these buttons, the lights dim to off. Coming around the corner, we have the larger of the kids' rooms. Okay, again, it's a bit of smaller of a closet, but we did put the closet kit in there. And you'll see these remote controls. My daughter lived in here, and she had put up these lights. So those remote controls manage those lights that go around the room. You can plug them in here, and then there's another set here that would plug in that sort of goes around the top of the door. And you can go through here, and you can go out onto the balcony. Give you a nice view of this. One of the things I like is that there's no neighbors to the right. All right, but there are a few creatures. Okay, so we have lots of turtles and rabbits and other creatures that come through our lawn. Okay, now we're gonna head over to the laundry room. All right. Here we go. We've left a sort of a spot carpet cleaner, and there's some cleaning solution, and washer and dryer hookups, some space to put your washer and dryer items. Okay. There's the drain, and then the hot and cold, your 220, and your vent. All right. This is where we put the washer, and that would, of course, allow for any spills to happen to get picked up. And then finally, we have sort of some collection of cleaning supplies that you're welcome to use. We couldn't ship them, so they stayed here. And of course, there's also light bulbs. Lastly, there are furnace filters here. Furnace and air conditioner filters. There's two sizes. We will continue to supply those for you so that you can replace every month. Okay, there is the smaller right here, 14 by 20 by 1. Please make sure that you're looking at the arrow if you're not familiar with how to do it. It's quite simple, but there is an arrow so that you make sure you're putting the filter in the correct way. And then here is the larger filter. Again, every month you replace it, and we will continually provide you a filter so that you can do it every month. Moving into the master bedroom. All right, we'll come over to this way. There's another entrance to the balcony. There's two switches here. One for the outside of the balcony, so you can see it go out, and then one for this little light right here. Okay, moving along. We have a ceiling fan, and we have these switches and remote control the ceiling fan and the light in this room. Okay, moving into the master bathroom. Have a tub, stand-in shower, which I'll show you real quick. This little piece, if you put a little pressure here, it sort of pops out, and it just sort of clips back in that way. And then you can modify your settings and your different types of pressure here. All right, the water does get hot rather quick. It is on-demand hot water. And we also have another linen closet here. We have two sinks and a vanity, and the sort of the toilet alcove here. And finally, we have the master bedroom closet. Okay, quite large. Had this closet kit put in. So you have shelves for your clothes and your bins, plenty of hanging racks for dresses and shirts and pants. And then the shirts and pants on the men's side, if you so desire, more space and room to put all your things. Kept things a little bit more organized in here. There is an attic. There's not too much space up there. There's a room for maybe some suitcases or a few boxes, but it does get extremely hot up there. So anything you don't want to melt or get ruined, I would say, probably don't put up there. Maybe you put that in the garage or in the shed out back. But there is a light switch here. This will turn on a light upstairs. All right, and that's where the HVAC and heating unit are upstairs in the attic. So here in the master bedroom is one of 3 zones. I'm gonna see if I can get so you can read it. Okay, so right now it's 69 in here, and it is set to 60 degrees. If it gets cooler than 60, the heat will come on. And if it gets hotter than 75, the air conditioning will come on. And here it's set to auto and auto, okay? So you can set this up for certain times of day, certain days of the week. If you wanted to, you leave for work at 6 a.m., you can set all that up. It's completely programmable. If you see where it says communication loss, that's simply because the app on your phone does not work with this anymore, and no matter what I tried, it didn't work. There are 3 zones, so this is one of 3 zones. This is zone 2, or a second zone, I should say, that controls the rest of the upstairs. Again, it's set to 60 and 75, and it's 69 in the house right now. Okay. Now we're gonna go downstairs and look at the last zone and talk about a few other things. And then here in the dining room is the final zone, or the third zone, of the heating system, and this will control the entire downstairs. There are no air filters downstairs. The only air filters are upstairs. So there's only 2 you need to change once a month. And again, it's set to 60 and 75 on auto. It's currently 70 degrees down here. Here we have the alarm pad, and this alarm pad was set up through ADT. So if you call them and want to set up your service, I think we paid $70 a month. And for $70 a month, we had an app on our phone. We could control, we could see the doorbell camera. There's a doorbell camera. We could see who's coming through there. There's also a back camera in the back of the home. I'll show you those in a minute. And it would detect all the sensors. Again, ADT is the service we used, and there was an app on our phone to control everything. Here's one of the sensors for the front door. This switch is for the main hallway, and this switch here by the front door is for the outside light, which is again light controlled. So when it gets dark, the light will automatically come on. And when it gets light out, it'll go off. Here is the sensor for the sliding glass door. And there is the sensor for the garage door.